Thank you. Assembly Member Twycross.
Thank you. Given only 6% of those affected by the bedroom tax have moved and 28% are in arrears, what measures does your strategy include that will alleviate the financial pressure on low-income households, particularly as we've heard today on disabled people?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the beginning of your question.
The bedroom tax, given that it's not working, what does your housing strategy do to address this?
Well, the spare room subsidy, as it is rightly called, actually doesn't affect London households as much as it affects people elsewhere in the country. And housing associations in London estimate the number of their tenants who are affected by the changes to spare room subsidy fell by 6%. And across the country as a whole, the numbers of those who are affected have been falling. As you will remember, we did get in quite a lot of mitigating measures to protect Londoners from the changes to the housing benefit, and I think that was the right thing to do.
I mean, I disagree that it's not an issue. I mean, if you're on the doorstep in London talking to people living in social housing, a lot of people are directly affected by this. So, I mean, and with arrears, obviously councils are affected and their income streams are affected. So how quickly will there be sufficient housing for those affected by welfare changes?
How quickly will there be what?
How quickly will there be properties for them to move into? I mean, it's fine to say it's addressing it and there's going to be properties coming online, but people are having to face quite difficult choices now about what they spend their money on.
Well, yes, but on the other hand, to get back to something we were discussing earlier on, clearly, if people are under-occupying a home, then that is potentially a useful thing, because if they're able to move, and it's not always easy in London, but if they are able to move, then that will free up a larger home for a family that may need it.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that, but there's just not the property there available now. And also now it's become clear that rather than allocating housing stock more effectively, the purpose stated by ministers of the bedroom tax was to raise a further £365 million a year from people on very low incomes. What do you intend to do through your strategy to address this? I'm still not clear what your strategy is going to do directly to address this.
Well, we have strategies to help people move, Fiona, where they have to. But I just point out that the problem is of under-occupation, which I've mentioned, is actually lower here in London because of the massive demand. So 16% of housing associations in London have no tenants affected whatsoever.
What about council housing? What about council housing, though? What about council houses? I mean, it is a problem. If you go and talk to people on housing estates, this is a problem affecting people now, and it's about the sort of disconnect between what's happening now and the time it's going to take for these new properties to come online for people to move into. So, I mean, that's what I'm concerned about with the strategy, that it's going to take a time to get to that point, and that people are struggling financially now.
Well, I understand that. I understand that concern, but we do have payments, discretionary housing payment allocations for London that we've secured that are there to help us tide such families over and to try to mitigate the impact of the changes. And you should have the figures available for what we've got.
Okay, if you could send me the figures, that would be good, because I think that
for 2013-14, £51 million for 2014-15. So yes, there can be hard cases, and yes, I understand the dislocation that you're talking about. On the other hand, the rates of such dislocation are much lower in London than elsewhere in the country, and we do have funds.
Could you send us figures on exactly how much lower and exactly who's getting the
dislocation? Yeah, I can. I mean, I've tried to give you some of the data earlier, but under-occupation is lower in London. Fewer tenants are affected by the spare room.
So how many tenants are affected in London?
Subsidy. Only 3% of housing associations have more than 10% of their tenants affected. And the number of housing associations in London that are suffering from this problem.
So the 680 in Barnet. So that's still quite a lot of people just in one borough alone. I mean, I'm just not happy with the statements you're making, because we've got 6% of those affected by the bedroom tax overall who've moved, and this sort of, if you can send me the figures, that'd be good, because
yes, I mean, I think you know,
and I think that would be fine.
People, on the other hand, people have got to understand that when they're getting, you know, if there is a families in desperate need of housing, and there are some homes that are under-occupied, then I think most people will see that what we're trying to do is to allocate a very scarce resource as fairly as possible.
Okay.
And that's the objective of trying to get rid of the spare room subsidy.
Thank you.